Let's make the rule that we just created fire. So you see I have the rule all set up over here. I want to show you a couple of things before we actually make the rule fire. I'm going to go to events here, and I want you to notice that no events have been generated so far. We haven't had the rule ever fired so far. And I'm going to show you my Outlook window where I will expect to see emails coming in as the rule fires. Let's go to our home page for intelligent assets, and there's our area. And we don't see the asset here because you might recall that its original location was far southeast of this location. But we expect when the asset moves into this geofence, that's when the rule will fire. I'm going to zoom in so we can actually see the asset moving in. Now, in a real intelligent assets system, you would have a tracker mounted on your asset that has GPS connectivity, and that tracker will be publishing location or something similar. Maybe it uses Wi-Fi, maybe it uses cellular, or some combination. But in our case, I'm going to simulate the movement of the asset. I'm actually going to run some code that you don't see that's going to make the asset appear to move into the area. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Now you see that the asset has entered the geofence. So if the rule had fired, we would have received an event and an action, which would be the email. So let's take a look. Let's go to events. And sure enough, there's an event that got generated, and it is in an open state. That's what the circle means. That means that someone has to acknowledge the event for it to be closed. Now, what that also means is while the event is open, the rule will actually not fire for the same occurrence. So now, if the asset was to leave the geofence and enter again before someone has acknowledged this, that will not count as a new event. So a new event will not get generated. Now let's take a look at my email client, and sure enough, there's the email that we were hoping to receive, and it does say our asset is arriving, the asset ID, the status is the open state of the event, and what root asset ID means is this is an asset that's at the top of the parent-child hierarchy. Okay, now let me actually try to regenerate the event or refire the rule without acknowledging this event. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go back to home, and I will run the code that will move the asset out. And you'll see it move. So I've moved it out. And now let me move it back in. So it moved back in. Did we get a new event generated? Let's take a look. We did not. Did we get a new email sent? We did not. Now the emails do take a little while to arrive, but we will not get another email. So we do need to acknowledge this event for subsequent events to be generated, and that is how we want it. So to acknowledge this event, we click on the event, and the status drop down gives us our choices of statuses that we can set. So as a recipient of this asset, I will know if it was if it was received in good shape or if it was damaged. I'm going to say it was damaged. Update status. Now you see that the event is closed. Let me go back to home. And now let me move the asset out and bring it back in again. So here we go. I moved it back out. And let me move it back in. So it's moved back in. I should have received a new event. I did. It is open. And eventually I should see another email arriving. Let me go ahead and acknowledge this event, and then we'll go look at my email client and see if a second email was indeed received. Maybe this time the car was received in good shape. And now let's go look at my Outlook. It does take a second, so we'll check back in just a little bit. And once again, the reminder, all these simulated location changes that I'm doing, you will not have in a real intelligent assets system. You would have a tracker that's publishing location and letting the system know where the asset is. There we see our second email was received with pretty much all the same information.